Today, we've had the honor of speaking with Anna Morgan, Career BFF's founder and CEO, and also the founder and CEO of Evolve Conferences. You don't want to miss this one. She really provides some great guidance on how to network, how to set yourself apart, branding, and why it's important to get back to community in person. And if you have to join virtually, how to get the best out of that as well. Let's hop in, shall we? People Work is proud to present Strategic Shift, a podcast dedicated to exploring the future of work. Thank you for joining us as we hear stories of bold decisions and workforce innovations. I'm Christy Honeycutt, and I'm your host. Anna, welcome to the show. I know 100% that I did not do you justice, but I would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience in your words and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Anna Morgan, also known as the Career BFF. What does that mean? So I have been in talent acquisition and recruiting for over 15 years, supporting job seekers and organizations with all types of hiring. So I am your career BFF when you're in transition. I am your corporate BFF when you've been hiring. And now I'm also your event BFF as the founder of Evolve, the next talent acquisition and HR conference that's coming later this January. So I am a multi-dimensional entrepreneur. I like to do all of the things and just have a heart for serving people first leaders and this industry. So, yeah.
That was a mouthful. And I've had the honor of knowing you for a couple of years, and you are just a soul sister, definitely one
Thank
for
you.
our community, which I love. So you mentioned Evolve, and I know that that's coming up, and I know that that's your true passion because that's when I've
Yes.
seen you personally light up. It's not just any HR and TA conference. It's very, very different. So I know we've got like HR Tech, which is very techy. We have RecFest, which is like a carnival on wheels. Like there's all these beautiful things. How would you describe Evolve and like what's different about it?
Thank you for asking that. You know, I have just been very curious about these experiences for the past, I'd say, 2.5 years. And RecFest was kind of the tipping point for me, kind of coming into that experience. This was my 3rd year attending. And then I was like, I love this. I like learning outside. I like the relaxed environment. And then I've studied other bigger events, you know, in the Las Vegas experiences and San Diego, and have so much respect for event organizers and the work that they do. And so really Evolve was born from honestly me kind of raising my hand and wanting to step on some stages and wasn't getting the traction and acceptance that I had hoped. And so I just kind of stepped into that rebel energy and said, hey, if I can't find my way on these stages, I'm just going to build my own. And so I put together this conference in about 69 days last year. It was super fast. And what's different about it is it really takes the best of all the experiences that I've done this market research on and creates a container where I have an opportunity to uplift HR and talent professionals in a very different way. So while a lot of conferences are, you know, giving us all the data and the information and it's an opportunity to learn, sometimes we get back to our computers and after the event, we're like, what did I learn? How can I implement this in my day-to-day life? So the focus around Evolve is very strategic around collaboration and more workshops and roundtables. Definitely going to have some powerhouse keynote speakers that inspire and educate. But this is an opportunity for our industry to take a moment, right? We know the holidays are coming up. It's busy. Many HR and TA professionals are going to be starting 2026 burnout because 2025 has been a challenging year for everyone. And so my vision and goal is to allow HR and TA people to start their 2026, kind of shake off the holiday dust, get into their business a little bit, and then give themselves, you know, that last Thursday of the month an opportunity for them. And why is that important? If we don't have a cup to pour from, then we're no good, right? So Evolve is an opportunity for our leaders in this space to take a minute, take a breath, remember what we do matters and that they matter.
Mm,
And with that, they are also going to get innovative tools around leadership, well-being, mental health, and branding to support them in building a strong foundation to launch from for 2026.
I love that so much because we look at and this podcast is about innovation, the future of work, and oftentimes I think that we need to take a beat and look at the people supporting those things, right? So it's your hiring authorities, it's your organizations, it's pouring back into the people that are pouring into the community. And
Right.
right now we've got like this, it's a little bit of a aggravation I think that's going on between. We've had so many layoffs. We've had
Mm,
people that are job hugging. We have people that don't have jobs and haven't had jobs for
right.
years. And it really hits your ego. And it really, it's painful to watch our brothers and sisters go
Hmm.
through this. What advice do you have for both job seekers and organizations to kind of set themselves apart? Because we're in this really weird time and
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, HR and talent teams are running super lean right now. A lot of executives and organizational decision makers are being like, oh, well, we can just have AI do this, right? And there's going to be a tipping point where obviously it's not going to be working as they had hoped, right? And the goal I feel for our industry is that they find that balance, right, between the human and the tech. And that's really the focus around the individuals and types of events that I like to curate and experience. But for organizations, I think a standout culture ad is how are you prioritizing professional development for your teams? And when are you having the conversations around budget and what's important? So many people I talk to, whether they're an individual contributor or a VP of talent or HR, it's like an afterthought. And the power of prioritizing your associates from a learning standpoint, not just giving them LinkedIn learning or, you know, the basics that a lot of organizations give, it is going to create better engagement, better loyalty, less turnover, and it amplifies the work that you are doing. If you're trying to spread the word and amplify your employer brand as well. So I would encourage organizations, I know a lot of people are looking at their budgets for 2026 now. Where are you prioritizing your teams from giving them resources to learn the latest tech, right? To learn more innovative leadership tactics and skill sets that are not the old ways, right? Humility and authenticity, and
Mhm.
community building are really what I see as some modern day leadership skills. And those are the types of speakers and members that I tend to attract, which just fills my heart. Now, for job seekers, I am going to open up, some free seats for those to apply to join, but get yourself out there. The important thing is how many actions are you taking, whether you're in HR or talent, to start conversations with those that are ahead of you and those that are also behind you so that you are sharing your experience, strength, and hope in a way
Yeah.
with a variety of members. And that collectively elevates the world of work and what we are all looking to make better.
I love that you said that. I think I shared this with you, but you just said my grandpa Langley method. My grandpa always said, keep yourself in the middle, always reach up and always reach down to pull someone up.
Yes.
And that's community, it's involvement. And the sponsor of this show, People Work, they do that. They put on
Yeah.
events where they hire 100 people in one day. It's needed with all the layoffs and everything going on. And
Mm-hmm.
um, so you mentioned something about you're going to open some seats that would be free.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk for a second about that because obviously there's been a lot of impact in the job market.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a young lady and we were at a conference and she had lost her job.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed that she took it upon herself to go meet everybody
Mm-hmm.
and openly say, I'm actively looking for a job. I like this about your organization. Do you have anything available? And building those relationships, walked away
Yeah.
with several interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it comes back to, our community's been lonely and they're
Yes.
looking for connection. And frankly, some of us don't know how to interact with each other because we've been so remote for so long. So and what I really like about Evolve and what you're doing is you're making it accessible. So you've got both a virtual option and then you have an
Right?
in-person option. So can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. And so, I my prediction, you can say I knew Anna when, is that 2026 is going to be like just the big comeback year of in-person events. Why? It's to solve a loneliness problem, which is actually a mental health issue within organizations. I'm going to
Yes.
say that again. Like, it is a mental health issue within organizations, especially with remote teams, because you have Gen Alpha, you've got Gen Z, you have millennials, Gen X, and boomers all trying to navigate, say, a hybrid and or remote kind of scenario. And so there is this immense craving for community, not only to learn, to stay relevant, right? There is a lot of talk around, how do I not be a dinosaur in this era, right? How do I stay relevant when there's so much noise? What should I be
Yes.
prioritizing, whether it's tech or in-person relationships, etc.? It's the same thing I say about job seeking. It's like a three-pronged stool, right? You have to find that balance between how you're interacting virtually. Are you reaching out and earning the right to ask for time from someone ahead of you or someone behind you, right? Because remember, conversations convert to opportunities. Could be, a job opportunity, it could be a partnership opportunity. So anyone that's kind of in this frantic space, take a moment and step back and start outlining, who are the people that you want to model success after, or the organizations that really align with your passions and your why, and then start mapping out how you can be visible and start conversations with those key people. But also don't forget the the people on your side of the street already, right? Go back through your phone, look at your Facebook and your Instagram, make sure there's a lot of contacts cross-pollinating between professional networks and personal, because again, just like sales, we buy from people and organizations that we know, like, and trust. So how are you showing up in a way that you can attract that? And to your mentees' experience, we know that not everyone is an extrovert like us that can walk around and work a room. If that is not you, find someone like us that can be like your conference career BFF
Mm-hmm.
and introduce you to all kinds of people. And this exactly happened to me at RecFest recently, where I ran into Clark Wilcox, who's a podcaster in our space, and he was like, I'm so glad I ran into you first, because just by running into me, he met Kat Kibben and Julia Levy and Jennifer Goodfriend, all the people that we respect in this space. So that's another thing that people can do if their confidence is kind of shaken. They're in the job market and they're not really sure what's next for them.
And I'm just gonna say, because I was a fangirl right before I had a platform, and Anna and I are friends. If you guys can't tell, but we met at an event, a networking event, and became friends. But it is great. Go up to us, come up to us, say
Yes.
hi,
Yeah.
talk to us, please, please,
Anyone that you
please.
see kind of working a room
Yeah.
that is more extroverted, it sometimes, if you just walk up and you can say goofy things. I mean, this is why I love making introductions out at big conferences, because I get this adrenaline rush and I'm like, hi, I'm Anna, I like your face. And people are just like, that's memorable, right? So, I mean, you don't have to be like that bold and that forward, but go up to somebody and say, like, I followed you on LinkedIn for a long time. I love your content. It looks like you've been here before. What do you recommend that I focus on while I'm here? And then just see where the conversation goes from there.
I love that. It always starts with something small. really, really small. Like I had, I'm on the board for Career Spring, and it happened because I met somebody who loved my shoes. We both had cheetah shoes on. That's how it started. It started with
Well,
the cheetah shoe conversation.
and I think for us, it was we both had like short, spiky hair
Pixies.
at the time. And I'm like, I always need a picture with my my short-haired gal pals. So
Well, I'm growing it out now.
it looks
So
amazing.
thank you.
I wish I could do that, but it's never going to happen.
I tell you what, if you ever get hit with alopecia, you suddenly start to hold on to what you got.
I got it.
So you are, I'm going to say lovingly, the branding queen. You have such a strong brand. And I think that that's important. You know, we talk about employer brand, we talk about, employee value proposition, all the different things. But as an individual, if I'm a job seeker, what are the top 3 things that you would recommend?
Okay, top 3 things as a job seeker, you know, whether you're in the people leadership space or not, is you got to be on LinkedIn. Sorry, not sorry. It is the best, highest converting professional platform out there. And, you know, there are tons of resources, tons of opinions too about how to optimize your profile. So I would always recommend that you have an updated cover image, that you have a recent headshot, that your headline really starts with kind of the key words that you want to be found for first, because we only see like 9 words in the newsfeed. And then what is your tagline or your differentiator? And if you're struggling with that, call up your past coworkers and say, I'm working on my brand as I'm in transition. You know, what are 5 words that you think of when you think of me? Or, you know, what are my strengths? And let them reflect back to you, because sometimes we're so close to our own strengths that we can't even see it. So be on LinkedIn, get some help optimizing your profile. Write it in first person, like you're welcoming someone into your home or on your back porch to share a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. But then also brag on yourself a little bit. You know, what have you done? What are you proud of? And then how do you want people to engage with you on the platform, right? And then don't forget, social proof is powerful. So do you have updated recommendations? You know, a lot of people say recruiters don't look at that. And I disagree, because if someone's willing to put out something, you know, public about you, they're obviously going to say the same things on the phone if they were, you know, to be a reference. And then you can take little snippets from that and say, this is what my clients say, or this is what my past candidates say about working with me. And that's powerful. Those are like, what's winning on LinkedIn right now is the devil's in the details. And
You said a couple things that I just want to pause because they're really, really important. One is we're often too close to our strengths that we don't see them. So just because you're really, really good at something and it's easy to you does not mean that it is not your superpower, right?
Right.
So I love that you said that. And I've had that realization. I'm sure you've had that realization.
Well, we've actually done it for each other through conversations. Yeah.
And the other thing that you're talking about is, which you just gave me an aha moment, is the recommendations on LinkedIn. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I've been in talent for 20 years. I've led multiple RPOs. All of my recruiters would look and see what recommendations they had, and if it backed up or attributed to the role they were trying to fill. 100% make sure those are updated and relevant.
Yeah. And if you're in recruiting too, it's and HR, sadly, we oftentimes are spending all this time sourcing and hunting on LinkedIn, but we neglect our own profile. And so the other thing that's so important for job seekers is building trust. And you said such nice things about me and my brand. And what people say is that, you know, you're exactly like you seem on LinkedIn. I'm like, yeah, I'm very silly and ADD and, you know, I do crazy things.
You're authentic.
Thank you. And don't be afraid, you know, to build in public, right? Like if you are in a job search, bring your community along with you and share what you're learning, what your wins are, what are some of your challenges, and spark those conversations on LinkedIn. And before you know it, you know, you're going to get inbound opportunities because they have seen either your content or your conversations in the comments, which again, talking about details and what's converting right now on LinkedIn is I'm personally prioritizing engagement heavily over posting right now.
Yeah. Well, it what's great about posting comments and engaging, like you said, is that now you're tagged in it. So when it keeps coming back up and up, you can see kind of how it's progressing or who's engaging with it, which is another opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then we have some influencers in the space that like to share the jobs that are open, which I think is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
But which leads me to another question for you, career BFF queen,
Yeah.
is okay, great. I'm in my career, whether I'm entry level, mid level, senior level, and I go to apply. There's 3,000 other people that have applied.
Okay.
This goes back
So
to setting yourself apart and not hitting
yeah.
the quick apply button. So communities, stop hitting the quick apply button. Number one.
Yeah.
Go.
And then it's, that's why like when I tell people to find a sustainable strategy for themselves, on LinkedIn, that is where you're starting to build that career insurance and what's going to give you the competitive edge over others because you have over 2,000 connections, that you have a post in the last 90 days, because job seekers are getting bombarded with scams and opportunities
Yes.
of distrust. So recruiters and HR teams that are trying to attract the best talent, they need to be clear in their story and have that information updated so that when a candidate evaluates their outbound message to them, they're like, okay, I can analyze their profile and see that they're a real person, that they're having public conversations, that they've created results for other candidates like me, AKA the recommendations that we just talked about. And that is what is going to help you get noticed versus those 3,000 other applicants. Now, remember on LinkedIn, if you click apply, it's probably going to take you to the careers site. And oftentimes it checks that you did apply. Now it's asking you if you did after the fact, but most people don't go back and update that. So I would recommend, apply, go to the career site, and then look at who are the people that are in charge or would be a part of that hiring process. And don't be afraid to engage in their content and then reach out and introduce yourself, right? Try not to use AI too much and write like you speak, and you will oftentimes have better results. And remember, like outreach messages to job seekers, less is more. And actually, I would say that goes for job seekers also. Please don't send an entire novel about your experience with your resume. Like it's, we all are dealing with just so much content coming our way, both job
Yeah.
seekers and recruiters. So, clarity is going to win over being clever, and then less is more. So I think I went off on a little bit of a tangent. So
No,
if you
it
want
was
to
much
repeat the
needed.
question, I can go back.
No, it's very on point, and I think a lot of people need to hear it. So, we've got, and you were talking about the noise. If you think about the noise coming at
Mhm.
you, I don't know what the average amount of people are on different social platforms, but if we look at what we're on, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's LinkedIn, it's Twitter, it's XYZ. So you have all these inbound messages coming in. So to your point, like for my TikTok,
Right?
it's fun and silly and just educational, and I like to have fun in the comments. LinkedIn, I'm going to be a little bit more purposeful, but I
Right.
liked what you said about less is more. And guys, just remember what platform you're on, kind of like what the nuance is for that platform and
Mhm.
what's appropriate for that platform,
Yeah.
because it's hard to keep up with a lot of inbound messages. And I know that you care like I do, and you want everyone to be seen and heard.
Right.
But I think it's helpful to educate, because we're in a time of, I remember rotary dial phones, right? And like party lines, like I'm an old hat. But you come into today and it's like, how do you communicate? Because used to you get a text and you knew that you were really close with somebody. Now you get a text to see if you could take a call. You get a text to see if you could take a text. So I think the way we communicate in a society is a little bit tipsy-turvy.
Mhm.
And so I love that you you said that less is more, but I think nuances of the different platforms is helpful as well.
And I think also, I mean, there are a lot of tools out there, and your partner, does this where they provide some learning opportunities. And whether you're, early in your career, mid-career, or executive, if you can't get to an in-person event, and then going back to the three-legged stool, it's like in-person event, virtual, and then again, just applying to roles is what's going to help you. But leveraging resources around emotional intelligence and communication skills. People are always like, how do you do what you do? And I've been gifted, and I think you have this too, with a natural ability to connect the dots and connect people in an unlikely way. So if you have an opportunity to do strength finders or a UMAP or some emotional intelligence, learning, I feel like everyone could benefit from that right now because our skills are dulled. We've gotten kind of awkward. I know I have. When I went back into an office after being remote for 2 years, and I was just pounding out phone screens and people would be walking by my cube, I lost like my corporate face. Okay. So I must have just been saying, get away from my cube. I'm trying to work. Right. So, and luckily I was able to easily adjust that, but it kind of got me in a little bit of trouble here and there. So, one, investing in that kind of education. Two, also having that self-awareness around
Yes.
where you thrive and what feels a little prickly and what feels comfortable. And then if you have that spidey sense that, hey, I feel like I could do this better, again, reach out, find the resources or the tools that can help reflect back some of those strengths and unique abilities that will help you give the stories for your interviewing or to make your business case for a promotion, things like that.
So, Anna, you brought up a really good point about EI and EQ. What would you recommend from a radical investment from hiring authorities, organizations? Like, obviously, they need this learning and this training. What do you recommend to kind of help bring our community back together from a communication standpoint, which I know is the most important thing, especially in the age of AI and technology?
Yeah, because trust is everything right now. So it comes down to like radical honesty with self, whether you're a job seeker or a leader, and acknowledging, okay, I'm feeling some friction with my team. I can't quite, figure out why. Then you need to take a step back as a leader and go, okay, how could I take action in service of leveling up my communication skills and EQ? Do I need to go to my chief people officer and get approval to invest in a course? Do I need to listen to an audiobook? Maybe I reach out to another leader that is crushing it with their team, has communication skills that I could only dream of. Earn the right to ask them for a little bit of mentorship, right? And then for job seekers, there's so many free resources. Google is your friend. AI is your friend to, seek out how you can find resources that fit your budget. And then I just encourage, whether you're a leader or a job seeker, like we said, how can you be a career BFF, right? How can you be a mentor and be a part of the solution of the world of work in the future, right? Because there are so many of us that are older and experienced, but we have such a passion to make sure that we pass along, what we've learned over the years, because while things are evolving and changing, there's still so much that stays the same around engagement, hiring, and just people leadership. So it all starts with self-awareness and radical honesty with self, and then prioritizing your well-being and your education, and knowing that if you take these actions, which may feel uncomfortable, it's a different edge that you're pushing, just trust that it will be the accelerator that you need for, like I said, that promotion, to make that business case for a new product or launch that you want to do. Once you have that EQ and confidence you will stand out, and that will accelerate your opportunities and help you close those jobs that, you may have been interviewing a little half-assed at, versus just knocking out of the park, the people on the other side of the screen nodding their head, being like, yes, she's the woman that I need on my team, or the man that I need on my team.
No, that's a really good point, because I think if in a lot of our community is experiencing, the panic on being able to provide for their families and have meaningful, dignified work. I cannot say that
Yeah.
word to save my butt.
Dignified.
Thank you. I mean, and it's a basic right that I think everyone has.
Mhm.
And so it's interesting to see that. And it is very important, because if you are not starting with yourself and making sure that you're in a good headspace, you're going to come off all kinds of crazy when you're talking to someone about opportunity. And they're
Mhm.
going to see it, because when you're emotionally, mentally kind of tied up,
Fragile. Mhm.
it shows. It comes out, right? It comes out of your pores. And so just take a beat, take a breath,
Reach
find someone
out.
like
Us,
find
yeah.
someone like us to kind of take you along. So you've
Yeah.
got this great conference coming up. I want to come back to that really
Yeah.
quickly. So if someone's going to your conference and they go, so I want 2 points of view. If they're going live, I would love to know what your networking tips would be. You gave
Yeah.
one about kind of just go for it, but there is a lot of awkwardness and scared. And then if they're joining online, what opportunity is there for building community?
Yes, so fun. Okay, so I'm always going to say IRL, right? Because
Yes. In
heart
real
to heart,
life, for
yes.
those of you that don't know what IRL is.
I mean, I'm trying to be like a cool Gen Xer by saying IRL, but I picked that up from my younger career BFFs that I surround myself with. So I'm always going to push for in person, because I have seen it, I've lived it. It is the greatest accelerator to opportunities and learning, period. So there's a couple of things that I do differently. I curate the first half of the conference with assigned seats. And I always do fun, inspired activities so that I have little icebreakers, nothing cheesy where people have to do weird stuff, but enough for the introverts to be at the table with someone that they have not networked with in the past. Because one of the problems that I see at a lot of these conferences is that it's very cliquey. The same people are talking to the same people. And then you leave the conference and you're like, oh man, I haven't really expanded my network, unless you're getting like spammed by other members or, vendors. So I do that, and, I just invite people to take advantage of that. And my sponsors are also expected to have a seat at the table as well, not to sell, but to be curious and to focus on building relationships. And they also are going to get great market research through the conversations that are happening at the tables. So I did get a little pushback last year from 1 or 2 people about the assigned seating, but, Teacher Morgan was like, trust me, have a seat and everything will be fine. The other thing that I like to do is I'm probably going to have some kind of lanyard or badge signal for folks that need a little extra help with a career BFF. I may even have kind of a career BF or conference BFF or evolved BFF committee that has a badge where you would be one of those people that, someone new to the event or someone coming by themselves could be like, oh, she's got one of those things. She's a safe person, and like that I could go talk to. I mean, everyone at my conference is going to be a safe person to talk to,
Yes.
but, signaling out that kind of opportunity. And then for virtual, we have a media partner that is going to be doing podcast interviews as well as like reporting live on LinkedIn from the
Nice.
event. So everyone that'll be in the virtual experience will be communicating, and I have a virtual MC who can answer questions and bring them from the virtual experience to the stage with their questions. So they really feel a part of it if they can't get there in person. So there likely will also be a post-event community where everyone can continue on the conversations in a more intimate, just evolved community space.
I love everything about that because you've kind of put up guardrails or child locks rather to help people not get hurt, not touch the stove, but feel really included, which is, and I sign up like I'm a safe person, guys. I'm going to be there to help. I love what you're doing. So as we wrap this up, I know that you've got the in-person and the online. Thank you for sharing kind of your vision, because I think it's a great event. Is there, and it's affordable too, right? What is the cost for online?
So $129 for virtual and $249 for in-person. And what's great about the property, so last year I hosted the event at a facility owned by a female entrepreneur that has had this background check company for a long time, and it worked beautifully. But I know that I'm going to double in attendance this year, and I just wanted to level up. So we are hosting this at the Marriott, which your room is upstairs. You can come down and have brunch and breakfast, and there's a bar there for after events. And then you can come to the conference, and for the introverts, they can take a hot beat and go upstairs, take a couple breaths if they need to. And it's a beautiful property, tons of little nooks and crannies to facilitate those conversations that happen between sessions, and really curating a welcome reception so people can get to know each other beforehand, as well as like a farewell brunch the day after the conference for follow-up networking and additional meetings as well.
And so the question that everyone wants to know, will Lily be there?
Yes, she will be there. She will definitely be there. And there will be a lot of other kind of surprises coming down the line, as far as some potential big speakers, as well as some fun activations from our sponsors. I'm a passionate yogi. We'll probably have a yoga session the day of the conference for us to get, moving. We'll have intentional movement breaks. Humoreso, John Baldino, is sponsoring the espresso bar again, which was a huge hit because, all great conversations happen over a good cup of coffee.
And by the way, John is one of the ones that I went up to at an event and said, I have been following you, and can I just say, and I started doing his dance. And that's how we became friends, right?
Yeah.
Because I had followed him, and it's so proof to your pudding. But for those of you who don't know who Lily is,
well, she is asleep on the corner over there, but Lily is my French bulldog, and she is the career BFF mascot because the name originated from Anna Morgan being a dog's best friend and then being your career's best friend. And so here we are, career BFF as a brand with a beautiful little mascot that just makes me smile and laugh out loud every single day. So if I can share that joy with my community as well, I do that. And she's also just the best networking buddy ever. So not all of you can bring your dogs, your emotional support and service dogs to conferences, but that's the beauty of the Anna Morgan magic, I guess.
We have an exception for the founder. For sure.
Yes, exactly.
So Anna, before we wrap up, how should people find you, reach you, sign up, sponsor? Where do they go?
So I have a new website called yourcareerbff.com that has everything. So it has my podcast. It has all the links to Evolve. It has the services I provide. We are pretty much full at the speaker level. So if you want to speak, I'm always passionate about giving new voices some opportunities, but I also have to honor the relationships and embody that event planner mindset for serving all of my attendees and my sponsors. But yes, reach out to me through the website, through LinkedIn. I spend all my time there. I'm going to be posting the Evolve event tomorrow, which we'll record this, another day, but it'll be posted here in October and available so people can get both virtual and in-person tickets through that as well.
Awesome. Well, Anna, thank you so much for holding space for myself, Strategic Shift, and our sponsor, PeopleWorks. We really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing what you create and how you impact our community. So thanks again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Christy Honeycutt. Be sure to subscribe to Strategic Shift so you never miss an episode. Tune in next time as we continue to explore innovation in the future of work. Until then, keep shifting.